go mad if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. The sky is falling and the world is gone mad, and we sing our songs and we just hold on, yeah. So if you're running, stop running. One life, one chance, start living. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. They say that I'm reckless, because I'm relentless. They spit on my face and crush on my name and taking my life in vengeance. Yeah, you could try and blame us and try and take what's sacred, but we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. A fire was set in the dark. It's time that you know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad, if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. The sky is falling and the world is gone mad, and we sing our songs and we just hold on, yeah. So if you're running, stop running. One life, one chance, start living. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. Somebody sound the alarm. It's time that you know. It doesn't matter if the world is gone mad, if we just hold on, if we just hold on, yeah. Sing it louder just to let the world know. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness. We were born for greatness. No, we're not nameless, we're not faceless, we were born for greatness.
That is not
is cooking. They talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your fate. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Shield edition of the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Rock Jones and
Sean Randy Smith, and that's right, we are delivering a Shield edition of the Wrestling Talk Show.
yes, as the WWE Universe says goodbye to Dean Ambrose at the moment of this point in his career, we look back at his time in the company, which of course means looking at the Shield.
So we will start off with their origins in NXT.
All three of them started in NXT, most noticeably with Seth Rollins being the first NXT champion.
Also, Roman Reigns was also in NXT as well.
At some point they all were, but it was at the 2012 Survivor Series during the triple threat WWE Championship match between CM Punk, John Cena, and Ryback that they would make their main roster debuts by doing their signature triple powerbomb on Ryback through a table.
Effectively eliminating Ryback from the match.
They would continue to target various superstars over the past coming weeks, leading to their first match at the Tables, Ladders and Chairs pay-per-view that same year against Team Hell No and Ryback.
Kane and Daniel Bryan.
And Ryback, who was looking for some payback.
But unfortunately didn't get it on this occasion.
Then things would get a little bit more interesting as we moved into 2013, starting at the Royal Rumble,
where Roman Reigns set a record.
You're thinking of a long year. This year would have been the one in which they attempted to aid CM Punk again in the WWE Championship match against yours truly.
Oh yes, when the lights went out and they triple powerbombed you through the table.
Only for Vince McMahon to come out and was originally going to strip Punk of the championship, only for Rock to say, "You don't take it from him, I am," and they restart the match.
In which he won, and the rest is history.
Then we go on to WrestleMania 29, which was their first WrestleMania, not just individually but as a group. Incidentally, this WrestleMania took place at MetLife Stadium.
Yes, it did.
Which is significant for at least one member of the Shield.
And that member was
Seth Rollins. We'll get into that in a little while. When the Shield would take on the team of Sheamus, Big Show, and Randy Orton, I believe it was.
Yes.
And they would win that match.
They even, later on in their time, they would eventually go on to do other stuff for other superstars.
Yes. After WrestleMania, they decided to, let's just say, target a certain dead man.
Yes.
Who was then assisted, at least for part of it, by his brother, who still had some issues with the Shield, with Team Hell No.
Yes.
The Shield would walk away with championships in the next month at Extreme Rules.
Yes.
When Dean Ambrose defeated current WWE champion Kofi Kingston for the United States Championship, which incidentally he holds the longest reign as United States champion under the WWE bracket.
Yes.
Whilst Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins would defeat Team Hell No to become tag team champions.
Now, and they would also, at one point in their career, do a certain dirty work for one authority.
Yes, as we went into the later stages of 2013, the Shield would basically do the bidding of Triple H, continue to screw Daniel Bryan out of the WWE Championship picture.
Yes.
Get involved with Goldust and Cody Rhodes.
Until eventually we had a massive match, which we'll get on to later.
Yes, it was. But it was on an episode of Raw in October, I believe it was, in which the Big Show, who had also been doing the authorities' bidding, would assist Cody Rhodes and Goldust to become the
Tag team champions.
Dean Ambrose would hold on to the United States Championship for a few months longer, only to lose it to Sheamus in a tables match. Or, no, not a tables match,
In a battle royal.
Battle Royal, yeah. But that would happen due to a little bit of deception which took place as we went into 2014 when the Shield basically refused to attack Jerry Lawler. And
they turned on Kane, who was in the ring at the time.
Yes, and would briefly turn face. At WrestleMania 30, they would take on Kane and the New Age Outlaws in not such a memorable match.
No.
After this, they would go on to how, after WrestleMania, of course, Triple H attempted to basically steal the WWE Championship off of Daniel Bryan.
And again, the Shield got involved in that.
That would start a program which got very brutal between the Shield and a former group known as Evolution.
Yes, which led to a memorable match at the 2014 Payback event.
And Extreme Rules.
In which both times the Shield won.
However, the night after, the Authority did what they would call Plan B, in which Seth Rollins would turn on the Shield.
With a steel chair to the back of Roman Reigns and a steel chair to Dean Ambrose.
The three of them would go their separate ways after this. It looked like the main attention was on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose seemed to fade away into the mid-card,
where he was for quite a while.
Then we get to Money in the Bank.
In 2016.
2014, which was won by Seth Rollins.
After Kane tombstoned Dean Ambrose.
Then we skip forward to the Royal Rumble match in 2015.
Now this, I believe, is where Roman Reigns set a record.
Yes, before this, Kane held the record for the highest number of eliminations in a match. Roman Reigns would take over that in the 2014 Royal Rumble match by eliminating 12, I believe it was.
Yes.
Including a midget.
Which was El Torito.
However, he would come in 50.
Philadelphia.
Yes.
Despite the fact that you came out and made the save.
Yes, a chorus of boos because the fans wanted Daniel Bryan, who had just returned from injury at that point. So the stage was set. WrestleMania 31.
Roman Reigns
versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, when the heist of the century would happen.
Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns were down, motionless. Then we hear the music of Seth Rollins running down with briefcase in tow.
Seth Rollins had lost a match to Randy Orton earlier in the night,
Yes.
but that did not stop him from cashing in Money in the Bank. This, incidentally, would be the first of 2 occasions in which Roman Reigns had Money in the Bank cast in on him.
Correct.
Well, anyway, Seth Rollins walked out as WWE World Heavyweight Champion, or WWE Champion as the titles are referred to now.
Yes.
Would hold the championship for pretty much the entire year. Would have a memorable title-for-title match with John Cena at SummerSlam, which he won with a little bit of outside interference help
from Jon Stewart, which made him a double champion.
Yes, and would give him the United States Championship. He would lose that back to John Cena at Night of Champions, when he was also defending the WWE Championship against Sting. In which Seth Rollins would accidentally injure and effectively end the in-ring career of Sting.
Which was an accident to this day.
Unfortunately, it was October, a few weeks before Survivor Series.
While Seth Rollins was on tour for the WWE in Europe, I believe that when this injury happened, Seth Rollins, I believe, was in a tables match, I think, with somebody, I can't remember who it was.
Yes,
Seth Rollins would tear his leg, or injure his ankle, or his knee.
Yes, he would land awkward. I think he did a flip off and landed awkwardly on his knee, forced him to vacate the championship.
Yes.
He would then miss a couple of months of action. Roman Reigns would then defeat Dean Ambrose in the finals of a tournament at that year's Survivor Series, only for Sheamus 5:15 to come into effect when he would have Money in the Bank cast in on him again. Then he would win the title back after Superman punching Vince McMahon in a loser, if he lost he would be fired type of deal.
Yes.
Then we would get to the 2016 Royal Rumble match, only the second time that the Royal Rumble match was for the WWE Championship.
The first time it was back in the 90s.
In which he would defend the championship from entering at number 1.
Yes.
But would lose the championship to Triple H after being eliminated the second to last man in the Royal Rumble match.
And this is where Dean Ambrose would be the last man standing, but unfortunately Ambrose couldn't get the job done.
Yes, at WrestleMania 32 at the AT&T Stadium, in what was a predictable match, nearly as predictable as Rock and Cena at WrestleMania 29, but that's a whole different thing to go into.
Yes.
Roman Reigns would defeat Triple H to win back the championship. And
then we're going to the other half of the career of the Shield.
That brings us to Money in the Bank 2016.
Yes.
Roman Reigns would defend the WWE Championship against a returning Seth Rollins.
With injury after Seth Rollins pedigreed Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring.
Seth Rollins would win this match, only to realize that payback is a bitch.
when he had Money in the Bank cashed in on him by Dean Ambrose.
And in that one night, all three members of the Shield held the WWE Championship.
Correct.
They would face each other in a triple threat match in Battleground as the brand split was reintroduced. The WWE Championship was made exclusive to SmackDown, with Dean Ambrose winning,
Yes.
which would create the Universal Championship.
And Seth Rollins was in that match with Finn Balor. Again, he accidentally injured Finn Balor.
Despite Finn Balor winning the match.
Yes.
Yeah, this takes a little bit of a downward spiral because Dean Ambrose would go on to lose the championship to AJ Styles.
Yes.
Before picking up his second Intercontinental Championship reign, his first reign being at the end of 2015.
Yes.
Seth Rollins would go into a feud with Triple H leading into WrestleMania 33.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns would go into WrestleMania 33 to face The Undertaker.
In which Roman Reigns won.
And what was rumoured at the time, and what looked at the time to be The Undertaker's retirement match.
But that wasn't true.
Then we go to when am I up to? WrestleMania 33.
Yes.
The Shield, Roman Reigns would gain the United States Championship in late 2015 as well.
Mm-hmm.
2016 even.
Yes, 2016.
Roman Reigns on a single career to go after the Raw Tag Team Championships.
In which Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose beat the Bar to win the Raw Tag Team titles at SummerSlam.
Yes, they had a healthy run going on until Dean Ambrose got injured.
Yep. Roman Reigns, meanwhile,
would be on a almost 2-year plus feud with Brock Lesnar.
Then going into 2017.
As we went into 2018, Seth Rollins would gain the Raw Tag Team titles with a new partner, Jason Jordan. That didn't last long.
No, especially when how unpopular Jason Jordan was getting with the fans.
Roman Reigns would main event WrestleMania 34 against Brock Lesnar in a losing effort for the Universal Championship.
And Dean Ambrose
Was still out injured when Seth Rollins would capture the Intercontinental Championship.
in a quite a lengthy feud at the time to show off Drew McIntyre.
Yes, after winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 34 in a triple threat match against Miz and Balor, Rollins would lose the championship to Dolph Ziggler with a little bit of help from Drew McIntyre. As we went into SummerSlam, two things took place.
One,
Seth Rollins decided that if the Scottish Psychopath was going to be with Ziggler, he was going to get a lunatic friends in the returning Dean Ambrose.
With a new look and a new improved physique.
And Seth Rollins would regain the Intercontinental Championship. Also, at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns would finally defeat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
Not being helped by Braun Strowman.
Unfortunately for Roman Reigns, however, this would be a relatively short reign due to his return in leukemia.
Which was a massive shock to not only Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, but also to the WWE Universe in attendance. But that's where things got even more worse.
Yes, because at this point, there was an attempted Shield reunion.
Yeah.
When Braun Strowman attempted to cash in Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns.
Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose would come out in their Shield gear, and with Roman Reigns, absolutely annihilate the monster among men.
However, like we said, due to the leukemia, that didn't really end well. However, what made that worse is that same night, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose would once again become Raw Tag Team Champions. Only for Dean Ambrose to go completely psycho and turn on Seth Rollins.
And to quote what Michael Cole said, why tonight? Why tonight of all nights?
Watching him play that, it did look like he was conflicted.
Yes.
Then 2 weeks later, on an episode of Raw, which aired in the UK, which I was at attendance in,
yes,
they would defend the titles against the Authors of Pain, in which Seth Rollins had to do it in 2-on-1 by orders of Constable Corbin.
Yes, and obviously, like you said, you were in attendance for that as well.
As this would then go on to a feud between the two at Tables, Ladders and Chairs, in which Dean Ambrose would pick up his third Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
However, that wouldn't exactly last long because he would soon lose it to Bobby Lashley.
Yes. The championship became a Hotto Championship.
For the next couple of weeks, yes, it did. Seth Rollins, on the other hand, would win the 2019 Royal Rumble match.
Yes.
Would go on to WrestleMania a few weeks ago to, you could argue, sneakily defeat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And in the midst of all of this, we had the Shield coming together for a final time, then another final time, and another final time.
And also during that period, it was also news was making rounds that Dean Ambrose would not be renewing his contract with WWE.
Hence, the Shield having several farewell matches. Mostly, in fact, I think all their farewell matches were against the team of Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre.
And on Raw after Mania, they made one final appearance to say farewell to Dean Ambrose.
Well, they did that, and then, was it a couple of weeks ago? Like a week ago or so ago, they did the Shield's final chapter at a WWE live event, which the Shield took on the team of Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre, and we saw one final triple powerbomb. And then
and effective, and as of a few weeks ago, Dean Ambrose is now a free agent.
Effect
Seth Rollins is now the Universal Champion. And Roman Reigns has been moved to SmackDown.
Yes. Dean Ambrose is now done with WWE, at least as of now, which came into effect really, I think it was the last day, probably the 29th or so of April, because on May 1st, in other words, yesterday,
Yes.
he had a video on his Twitter account in which he would be promoting the return of his wrestling name,
John Moxley,
which doesn't necessarily indicate that he's going to go to AEW, but at least to me says that he's going to be continuing wrestling. And considering that he's going to have at least some kind of connection with WWE, with Renee Young being there, he's probably going to come back at some point.
Yes. Seth Rollins, as the Universal Champion, is locked in a feud at the moment with AJ Styles.
They will go head to head in 2 weeks at Money in the Bank.
A show that we will be bringing to you in a couple of weeks.
Roman Reigns is currently locked in a battle with the McMahon family.
And Elias.
Yes.
So that about does it for our recap into the history of the Shield.
And the farewell of Dean Ambrose.
So join us in 2 weeks as we take a trip to the bank in Money in the Bank.
Until then, he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and he's been
Reese Rock Jones.
We will see you in 2 weeks for Money in the Bank.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.